So Harry Sisson is a Gen Z influencer. I'm sure any of you that watches my page or Midas Touch, Adam Mockler, Bo of the Fifth Column, Luke Beasley, people like that, I'm sure you've stumbled across Harry's videos. I watch him every day. And he recently caught the attention of Fox News and Don Jr. for a tweet that he made. And Don Jr. is really upset because now he thinks Harry is coming after his dad. Take a look.
And how did Team Biden respond to this decision? They literally called for the assassination of my father and Supreme Court justices. Someone named Harry Sisson, a Biden influencer, I guess. I think he's like some paid little troll or whatever, tweeted, according to the Supreme Court, Biden could now send SEAL Team 6 to take them all out. He could send in the military to take out Trump. He has immunity for official acts now.
Okay, try to relax there, Junior. Ain't nobody coming after you, Daddy, okay? Lighten up, Francis. It's not what you think. Harry does not want to take out your dad. Harry's not going to try to take out your dad, and no one is suggesting that anyone do that. That's not what this is. So don't go knocking on Harry's door. He don't want to meet you anyway. What he was doing was he was referencing Justice Sotomayor when she said that a president can now order SEAL Team 6 to take out a political rival and he'd be immune. Or he could overthrow an election and he would be immune. Or he could take a bribe and he would be immune. And she said, I dissent. For fear of my democracy, I dissent. That's the first time anyone has ever said that. A justice has never said that in American history because we've never had this conversation in our entire existence as a country. Since the foundation of this country, we've not had to have this conversation. But we're having to have it now because we elected a criminal as the president. And now he's trying to become immune from everything. And I want to point something out, just the fact that we're having the conversation about immunity. Immunity is a conversation the mob has, okay? And now that's what's happening with the presidency of the United States. When we celebrate the 4th of July, we're celebrating it to celebrate the fact that we escaped the rule of a king and we have the separation of church and state. But if you read Project 2025, what they're intending to do is give the president full power, make him the king, and make the church rule completely over the state. And if you really dig in there and start reading all the things that it says and all the things that it lays out, you got to understand that just because you voted for Trump does not mean you won't be affected by it. And once he's back in power and he has full immunity and full reins to go in going, hey, they can't stop me from doing nothing. I can do anything I want to. Then he no longer needs his audience anymore. He no longer needs you. You only serve the purpose to get him where he needed to be. He can turn it on you. So all of you, gun lovers that's holding on to your guns and you're going to take it from me when you pry it from my cold dead hands. Well, he could easily pry it from your cold dead hands. There ain't a damn thing you or nobody could do about it because he'd have immunity. That's what we're trying to get you to stop and think about. And Don Jr. is trying to twist this around and blame it on us. Let me point something out. I know that I use the words projection and gaslighting every day. I use those words so much I get tired of saying them, but that's exactly what's happening here. It is them with Project 2025 and giving the president full immunity that wants to use and weaponize the government against everybody they disagree with. Steve Bannon has talked about how that he wants to see people arrested, put in jail. He wants retribution. They're talking about revenge and retribution. This entire time that they've been telling you that they're going to come after the deep state and dismantle the deep state, they're going to be in charge because the deep state was a myth. It was a boogeyman they created to get everybody to thinking that they were fighting for them. But once they get in there and they've got their power back, they don't need you anymore. You're no longer of any use to them. So I would stop and think about it long and hard before I got all excited about it. It's not what you think. And if there's any silver lining to this dark cloud, the only thing I can think of is this should, I will say it should because I don't have much confidence that it will, but it should cause people to really stop and reflect and say, do we want to live under a king? And think about this for all of you that wants to say both sides are the same. Just follow me. Joe Biden came out. Not one time did he say he was going to go after Trump. Not one time did he say he was going to lock him up. He said it was up to us to vote. That's what Joe Biden did. He could have came out there and completely flipped the script. A lot of people wanted to see him do it, but he didn't. And right now we have a Democratic president sitting there that could do it, and we're saying no. No, we don't want to live under a king. We don't want this to happen. This isn't normal. And meanwhile, they're over there celebrating this fact, not realizing that it could come back to bite them in the ass as well. Because if you decide to get divorced and it's a no-fault divorce and you decide you want one, you ain't going to be able to get one under Project 2025. And how many of you down here in the South have went through a couple of marriages? I know I've got 2 under my belt. So I'd still be married to my first wife if Project 2025 got its way. We wouldn't be able to walk away. So I think people really needs to dive in and read this and get an understanding of it and learn about it and educate yourself on it. We're not sitting here trying to spread fear and hyperbole. We're not calling for anything bad to happen to Donald Trump other than him be held accountable for what he did, other than him not be above the law. That's what we're asking for. That's what we're asking for. We're not asking for anything else. We want to see him held accountable. We don't want any president to be above the law, including Joe Biden. I've said on so many occasions, if Joe Biden broke the law somewhere and you can prove it and he's found guilty, punish him to the full extent of the law. That's how we look at it on our side. When we point out what Justice Sotomayor said, we're not calling for Donald Trump to be harmed in any way. Would never want to see that. What we're calling for is for him to be held accountable, and we're trying to remind people, hey, wait a minute, you're celebrating this, but this could come back and bite you in the ass. And you know what? Let's just go ahead for the sake of the argument and say that Donald Trump never does anything. Let's say that he gets reelected and he goes, well, I said that on the campaign trail like he did the first time with Hillary. I said that on the campaign trail. I didn't mean it. Let's say that he doesn't lock anyone up. Let's say that he just goes about his day, serves out 4 years, and actually goes home. I don't believe none of that, but let's just say that he does. That's still on the books for another president to grab a hold of it and use it whenever they want to. Democrat or Republican can pick that up and say, I have immunity. I can do anything I want to. And that's what everyone, Democrat, Republican, Independent, I don't care how you label yourself, that's what you really need to stop and think about long and hard.